Someone drink from this? It's important to stay hydrated, kids. Time for the tea spilling. I should like have a mug or something with me. Literally tea spill. I don't drink tea though, I just spill it sometimes, not really. This is gonna be my tea, okay? Hey guys, it's me, 1239 here, and I'm here to give you guys a story time. This is a very, very special and exciting story to tell you guys because this is when I met a lot of the cast members of Anne with an E. And this is basically the story time of the season 2 premiere event that was held here in Toronto last Sunday. Yeah, I'm like, it was so much. It was a lot to take in. Even after almost a week of it happening, I still am so overwhelmed by everything and so happy at the same time. It was a lot. For me. I think for me specifically it was a lot because I was well aware that there were going to be a couple of people that would recognize me but I didn't expect so many more than I like already knew were gonna recognize me. I didn't expect the executive producer from Anne to recognize me. Yeah, it was crazy. So I guess we'll just get into that. If you guys haven't watched the, I guess, part 1, like the series thing, I did like a pre-event video where I basically addressed the book project and, you know, gifts and letters for the cast, but I didn't tell you guys all of the gifts, I guess, that I was getting to some of the cast. So you guys know I did the book project for Beth. Like that was something that I really, really wanted to do, not just when I heard about this event, but like for a very long time because I knew that I really just wanted to do something special for her with people in the fandom. I don't think I've ever done a project for any of the cast or like I've never done that before, so that was gonna be like I guess a debut of that, but I didn't know when she would be back in Toronto. Like I really wanted to hand it to her. I didn't want to send it to her fan mail because that might get lost or it might take a while, so I just wanted to wait until she came back to Toronto, so that's what I did. Yeah, that was something I worked on. It took a lot of time. In total there were 413 messages and every single person who participated got to be in the book. So I know you guys have been asking about what happened to the book. Did everyone get a chance to be in it? Yes, everyone who ever sent me a message is in the book. Plus 2 other people who created fan art for me, Beth. I was able to put them in the book as well. Unfortunately don't have screenshots of everything just because it took so long and like I worked on it until the day of the event basically. Like I had no time at all to take screenshots. I really had to hurry up with the book because there were more than I expected. I hand wrote most of them, around 100 and something more I like had to print out and tape them into the book, so like yeah, it all fits, so that was really cool. And then the second thing that I got for Amy Beth was a letter from myself to explain the book and also just to write her a letter because as I've said before, it's like really personal and I love writing a letter, but this time I typed it out because there's no way I was gonna write anymore. My thumb was hurting so much, so at this point I was like, I'm typing this out. The third thing that I got for Amy Beth, which wasn't actually a present from me, it was someone from the fandom who wasn't going to be able to be there due to unfortunate circumstances. Their username at and with some care Jeff basically asked me to give her a portrait that he had drawn of her with a message. I put that in an envelope and addressed it from him to her, and I gave that to her alongside the book and my own message, my own letter. So that was the other thing. I felt really bad that he couldn't be there, and I still do. Hi Jeff, if you're watching this. I felt really bad that you couldn't be there, and when you asked me, I knew I had to do that for you because not everyone can be there. Like that's the thing that sucks, and I would love for the whole fandom, hundreds and thousands of people to be there. I would love that. That would be so amazing because I feel like that would just be like a huge celebration of the show and like, you know, our love for not only the show but each other. Like I feel like we're for the most part a very welcoming and loving community, so I would have done that for you no matter what. Like I had no problem doing that for you. Second person, I guess, was AJ, right? Sorry, I had to stop the camera because there was something going on next door. Now let's get back to what I was saying. Alright, so basically for AJ I got him these 2 shirts, one for his sister, one for himself, and they had the logo of hashtag Mimi's News because that was something he had said to me live once, and that was the gift that I got him. I've already explained this, but I basically was like, want to get him something kind of, you know, as a joke and crazy, but that's, you know, that's what I got him. And then I also wrote him a letter, and he said he really liked it, by the way. For Glenna, I wrote her a letter as well. And then for Corey, I really wish I would have written a letter for Corey, like for myself. I really had no time left at this point. Like, I went to bed at, I think, like 5 in the morning, and I had to wake up at 7:30 to shower and you know, get ready and stuff and go. So I really had no other time. Someone in the fandom, her name is Lisa, she asked me to give him a letter. She like sent it to me through DMs, and then I typed it out, and then I printed it, and I put it along with every other gift that I had for the cast. So now let's get on to the actual story time. That was a little bit of background of like what my mission, this is like an actual thing. Like, I was thinking, like, I had a mission that day, which was to get them all of these items to them in person, and that's what I did. I woke up that day, Sunday, at like 7:30 to take a shower. I showered, and then I like decided that I would put on my kindred spirit shirt, and then I also got everything prepared. Like, I put the letters into my bag, the book, and the shirts. Then I woke up my dad so that he could get ready and we could go, because I was going with my dad, obviously. The night before, my sister had helped me finish the book. She was cutting the remaining messages, handing me tape and stuff, and she even wrote in the book as well. One of the last messages is like handwritten, and that was by my sister, so yeah, that was pretty cool. I thank her for doing that, because or else I wouldn't have finished. Legit, like, I was going insane by that point. So when I woke up, I actually kind of did contemplate on not going. I know that sounds crazy, but in my mind, I was feeling really nervous and really doubtful of like what was gonna happen. I was like, this is the perfect thing to ever happen, like to be able to go and witness, you know, the premiere, and to be able to meet all of these people, and not just the cast, but like other fans, and make friends and stuff. But I was so nervous for that. I was like, am I actually ready to do all that, and ready for people to say I love your videos, and for people to recognize me? And I didn't want to have too many high expectations, so I really did contemplate on not going for 1 second, and then I was like, no way, I am going to go. So that's what I did. You know, I got ready, and as I said, I had the kindred spirit shirt on, and I like posted it on my story. I was like, hey, this is what I'm wearing, just in case people see me and recognize me. This is something I never thought I would actually be able to do, which is say like, hey, if you see me and you recognize me, please come up and say hi. Like, that's something, you know, like a celebrity would say, or you know, not someone like me. Kind of felt weird about that, because like in March, no one recognized me, obviously, like, because I wasn't as like popping, I guess, on YouTube at the time. So then I went on Instagram, and I saw that Amy Beth had been in our group chat, our premiere group chat. A little backstory on that: I created this group chat for the people that were going to the event, so that we would kind of get to know each other beforehand, and then we could like meet up and be friends and stuff. And so I made that group chat. At first it was called, I think, the TO Superfan group chat, but then they kept changing it, and like, because Kyle was in it as well, like, because we added the cast and stuff, so people were obviously popping in from the cast. So I think Kyle said premiere without the E's or something, and then they kind of changed it to premiere, the premiere group chat, so that was pretty cool. So Amy Beth popped in. She popped in at night though. A lot of us were just like, oh, this happened, and no one like realized it. It was kind of funny. We had all like said each other's names in the group chat, and then she kind of just popped in and named everyone and said, you guys have lovely, beautiful names, and we were like, thank you. So that was pretty cool. Really cool of her, and really nice. So then, as I said, I got everything ready. I got, you know, the book, I got the letters, the t-shirts, everything ready in my bag. And so when my dad was finally ready, we decided, well, he decided, he was like, let's take the subway, because we're not driving to downtown in the car, and then we're gonna have to pay a lot for parking. So I was like, okay, because at first I wanted a vlog while we were like in the car and stuff, but that didn't happen. So I was like, okay, we're gonna do that, we're gonna take the subway. That makes sense, right? Because you don't want to be paying, like, downtown is pretty expensive, you don't want to be paying for parking there, and like if you have to like set up a time, you know, some parking lots do that, you have a limit of how long you can stay there. Obviously we don't want to like exceed that and then have our car towed away, so we just decided to take the subway. So basically we had to go like on a 15-minute walk, because the bus wasn't coming, and I felt better because I was obviously really tired from not sleeping that much the night before. So I was like, I need this energy with me right now, because if I'm gonna be here standing in line or whatever at the event, I'm going to need like a lot of energy for that. We got to the subway, we went to Dundas, we kind of got a little lost like figuring out the exit and stuff, so we ended up on a different side of the venue, I guess. We finally got there, and we saw that there were still people setting up and stuff, like the event, like setting up the stage of like the photo booth, I guess you can say. It was so beautiful just arriving there there and seeing all of these flowers, photo booth, and like seeing the Anne billboards and stuff, jumbo screen, just Anne, everything was Anne, and it was so amazing. I don't know if I was one of the first ones to get there because Dundas Square, I'm gonna call it the square. The square is a very public area, so you don't even know who's actually waiting for the event or not, or just people that are just like chilling there, you know, at 9:45 in the morning. You don't know. So then I started to vlog the whole thing. Like, I was starting to vlog the beginning, and it was like so weird because this is my first time filming a video in front of my dad, and it has to be a vlog. So I was like trying to hold up the camera like this, you know, like how vloggers do, and then my dad takes the camera away from me. I was a little, you know, caught off guard by that because I didn't expect him to start doing that. But I also told him like prior to this that if I'm meeting any of the cast or anything, please film it. Please film everything. So he did that, obviously, but I didn't expect him to like hold it up for me so that I could talk and stuff, so that was kind of weird. So if you see that part of the vlog, I don't know if I'm gonna show it, but I was awkward as hell. Oh. I was gonna talk. Okay. That's it. I'm so awkward. And then I decided to start a live because I promised basically the whole fandom that I would start live streaming the event. So I was like, I might as well do that because there's still a lot of time left because the event was starting at 11 and it was 9:45. I started live streaming and someone from the chat in the live stream was like, I'm here. And I obviously recognize this person because she has a Tumblr page that I've been following for months now, and her name is Anne Shirley Was My Childhood. And so I was like, you're here? And I was like really excited, but I didn't expect her to actually be there. And she was like, yeah, I'm like walking there, and I was like, oh, okay, like I can't see you. And then she shows up and I'm like, oh my god, like she's here. And then we hug and stuff and we start chatting, and like instantly, her name is Amelia, by the way, instantly we have this vibe with us and we became pretty good friends at that point. She was basically my first Anne friend in real life, so that was really, really amazing just to like be able to meet her. And she's super, super sweet. She's super knowledgeable about the books and about like the musicals and stuff like that. It was really cool to see her perspective on Anne and stuff. So we were just talking, chatting. We even ended the live stream, and then she was telling me about how she had gone there at 8:30 in the morning and she went up to the Cineplex, so that's where the red carpet and the screening were going to be at. So she had gone there and she saw that the red carpet was already set up. I don't know if she's actually still gonna go forward with this, but she told me that she was going to vlog her experience with the event as well. So if she does end up doing that, then I'll obviously link her video below so you guys can check it out and see her perspective on the whole experience. And I was kind of in the vlog as well, so you guys can see that as well. That was cool. It was fun to film. So then someone from the group chat, the premiere group chat, came up to me. Her name is Zaina, Art of Sherbert. That's her username on Instagram. And we'd been chatting for like a week, I'd say, before the event. So she came up to me and she was like, hi. And I was like, what? You know, I have a really hard time remembering faces, so I obviously had to ask her, oh, what's your name and stuff like that. And she was like, Zaina. I was like, oh my god, Zaina. Like, hi, it's nice to meet you. And then we took a picture together. Like, that was pretty cool. Her mom was there. Her mom was super sweet. We talked a little bit after as well, like when we were waiting in the red carpet part, and she offered me popcorn, which is really sweet. But yeah, so she has that picture. I'll probably insert it here. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Once that happened, I was like, that actually happened. She knows me from YouTube. She asked for a picture. We took a picture. And that was like so surreal to me because like, what? She's a really, really sweet kid. Yeah, I really enjoyed meeting you, Zaina, if you're watching this. So the thing with Amelia is that she hadn't gotten tickets, so she had to wait in the Russian line. That's just a thing to consider. So we did spend most of the day together, but for that part of the screening, waiting in line and stuff, we didn't get to see each other until like when we were inside the theater. So then Amelia and I were talking a bit more about, you know, like musicals and stuff like that, and then someone else comes up to me. They're like, hi, are you Michelle? And I'm like, yes, what's your name? And she was like, she said Joy, but to be honest, I don't know why. I remember her saying Emma, so like I got her confused so much that day. I tagged her in a picture of the two of us and I like put someone else's username because I thought that that was them. That was kind of embarrassing. Yeah, so she also recognized me as well, and then we talked a little bit, and then we finally decided to start lining up because it was close to 11, I believe, at this point. For some reason, Amelia and I, even though we were with Joy and her family, her mom and her sister, we like somehow were getting, not pushed behind, but we were like kind of going back, and like people in the line started like filling up the line, so we were kind of pretty far from them at this point. But then Joy came up to us and she was like, hey, do you want to come with us? Like, do you want to butt in line, I guess? I feel like I'm 2 years years old now by saying that. But she was like, hey, do you want to come up with us to the front? We were like, okay. You know how like you don't know if this is gonna be like a problem or not? We kind of both hesitated, but we were like, okay. No one said anything. You know, in other parts, I guess, like in Ecuador, I can say that if you do that, they're gonna pull a knife on you. No, but like people sometimes do get upset when other people butt in line. As a, you know, person who doesn't want any problems, I was obviously hesitating, but thankfully no one said anything. So we got to them and then we started, you know, talking, and Joy's mom, it was very nice meeting her. She was like asking me, she's like, is it weird to like meet people from online at like an event and stuff? And I was like, I don't think so. Actually, it's pretty nice just because I feel like I know them, and it's kind of cool to have like something in common with people who you're meeting at an event. Obviously the common factor for all of us was Anne, so I felt like I was already meeting friends. It's so weird to say this, but like it's really true. It's like you're meeting people that you've already known for a long time. You just have this thing that you're already connected by, and that's, you know, the show, and you have your own experiences, but it's still really cool. And even though obviously for the most part I haven't known the people that I was meeting there for a long time, but it was like most of us have been in this fandom for a long time, so we all kind of have been through the same things. That's what like keeps us together in a way. I don't know how to explain that, but you get what I mean. And so then I started showing, I think it was Joy and Zaina, I started showing them the book so that they could like see what it was like and stuff. And I think Joy's mom was kind of like surprised that I had written so much in the book. Yeah, that was pretty funny. I did really work hard on the book. I understand how people can see that and be like, what? So at this point, it was already past 11. I think I told Amelia this. I was like, I'm nervous that the cast are gonna somehow pop up and like scare us, like, because that's something I actually feared in a way. So I was like, if this happens, then I'm going to die, like actually die, if they just somehow like come up to us. I don't know, but that's what I thought. I was like, this might happen, they might like try to scare us, but that didn't actually end up happening, because the thing is, we were also so confused of whether or not we were gonna meet them. So we thought that someone, at least someone, was gonna appear when we were, you know, doing the photo booth part, but no one did. So then by the time we're about to like actually enter the real line, this girl comes up to me and I think she said, hi Michelle, and I was like, hi, what's your name? And she's like, Rachel, and I'm like I'm trying to like go with everyone, like, so that I'm not behind in line, but like as she said Rachel, I like almost trip over this bag on the floor. I was like shook. I was like, this is embarrassing, because like Rachel's like there, and I'm like walking away from her as I'm like looking at her, like looking back and looking at her. I'm like, oh hi, and you know, it was weird. But yeah, Rachel, if you're watching this, hi. I wasn't expecting that to be you, but also that was amazing. Thing is with me and Rachel is that we've like known each other. We've been friends on Instagram since like the March meetup, right, with Amy, Beth, Dalila, and Kyla. Like we've known each other for that long. Obviously we've never met up. I've known her for like 7 months almost. I did know that she was coming to this event, but like I still didn't register in my mind that that was her, and so that's why I was like, oh my god, that's you? That's insane. And plus she's such an amazing artist. Like she's one of the most talented people I know. She's so talented, and I'm really proud of her. And like she made these cards for the cast, which is so cool, and I know that they really appreciate that. So Rachel, if you're watching this, you're amazing. You're so talented. But yeah, I was shook when we met. I like fangirled over you, you know, like that was kind of a thing that happened because you're so amazing, you're so talented. So then we finally got in, like we were one of the first people in the line, right? And so they start putting up pictures that they started taking of like the photo booth up on the jumbo screen, and so that was really cool. We were like, oh my goodness, we're gonna be on the jumbo screen. They start giving us the flower crowns, which by the way, I'm gonna get my flower crown because I forgot to wear it. Okay, so I don't know if this is gonna fit me anymore. It's really bad at this point. It's been almost a week since I've worn it. I'm gonna try to like wear it now, I guess. I don't know. The leaves are like pretty dead at this point. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I'm gonna wear it. Anyway, so we start putting on the flower crowns, and like I have no idea how to put it on. So Amelia starts helping me out, and she puts it on my head and she helps me tie it and stuff, so that was really sweet of her. Then we get into the photo booth area. It was Joy, her sister, Amelia, and I. We all took a picture, like a group photo, and that was really cool. They said that we had to tweet it. They said that we had to post it on Instagram with a hashtag in order for it to be up on the jumbo screen, and so I did that. When we saw it, we were like kind of freaking out, and we started taking pictures of it and stuff. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna post a photo of myself, right? So it goes on the jumbo screen. So I do that, and then I have to wait, right, for it to come up, and that took forever. Like it really did. I was like, I'm never gonna be able to see myself on the jumbo screen. So then by this point, because we were, you know, one of the first people in line, it was only like 11:15, and we were like, okay, now what? Like what's gonna happen now? So all of us start kind of like going on Instagram and being like, okay, what's happening now? Like we need our updates, right? I think it was Joy, who said, oh look, is here, like she's somewhere here. We try to like look for the background, like I'm gonna insert the picture here, but we looked at the background, we were like, where the heck is this place? We were like, what's going on, like what are we doing? So I asked someone, they're like, what do we do now, like since the photo booth thing is done? And they said the people in the Russian line can start lining up soon, and then everyone else can start going into the theater whenever you want to. And so we're like, okay, but I still hadn't seen my picture on the screen, right? All of us except for Amelia, because Amelia had to get the Russian ticket so that she could be let into the screening. She left and we were all standing there waiting for my picture to come up, and then I took a picture with Rachel, which is right here, which is really awesome. But then we were still waiting for the picture, right? It was hilarious. And then we just decided, oh, we're gonna take a picture in front of this arc of flowers. As soon as we're doing that, my picture comes up on the jumbo screen, and I'm like frantically grabbing my phone trying to take it, and I miss it completely. And so we're like, oh my goodness, we have to wait again, right? And so they tell me like, oh, just post another picture and we'll see if it's up there. And so I post another picture, and then finally my picture shows up. I take a picture of it. No, everyone was kind of freaking out. We're like, oh my god, it's and I like videotaped it. I filmed myself on the jumbo screen. There is a worker there. He was like jokingly like, oh, I know her, and so it was so funny. But I was like, finally got the picture, and I posted it on my story and stuff. So thank you to Joy and her family for like waiting for me to finally get that shot, and they were like helping me out as well by like trying to take a picture of it. It was so funny. Another thing I forgot to mention is that I got to meet Rachel's mom, and I told her, obviously, I was like, your daughter is so talented. She's really amazing. I really felt like I needed to say that because it's so true. And her mom was really sweet as well. So then at some point, I don't remember exactly when, but Brooke came up to me. Brooke from the premiere group chat, she comes up to me. I was like, oh my god, it's so nice to meet you. And I think she still was waiting in line. I don't remember if it was before or after we took our picture, but she did come up to me. It was very brief. I think she had to go back in line so that she could do the photo thing. So we didn't really get to see each other, I don't think, after that. So that was like really sad. We didn't get to take a picture together as well. So hopefully next time we do. We finally decide to enter the Cineplex, go to the 3rd floor to get in line for the red carpet event. So while we were going up the escalators, as we're getting there, I decide, okay, I'm gonna do a live stream again. So I start doing a live stream. As I'm going up, the connection keeps getting worse and worse, and I had to like end it, and I don't think everything saved, but I think it was paused for the most part. And the funny thing is that Amy, Beth, and AJ both joined close together. They were probably confused as to like what was going on, and it paused on my face, I think, so that was really awkward and really embarrassing. I think AJ said that he was watching my live while he was on his way to the event, and Amy Beth was like, I can't wait to meet you. I really wish I would have seen that, but no. So I ended the live and I tried to save as much as I could of it, and then we got in line. I wasn't too far, but there was a crowd already in front of me, right, waiting in line, and I was behind Zaina and her mom. While that was going on, my dad was like trying to predict where they were gonna come out from, like where Amy Beth was gonna appear, but she came like behind us. He thought she was gonna come out from inside the theater, and also like they were filming and they were taking pictures of the event, which is pretty cool. I hope that they end up posting that somewhere. That would be amazing to see myself in there. And then at some point, Cherry, aka Amy Beth Meme Nulty, comes up to me and she's like, Michelle, we're finally meeting, stuff like that. And then she was like, there's my friend, and she had a really hard time finding someone to go with her. She finally found someone, which was her friend, even though she hadn't, you know, watched the show or anything, so that was really awesome of her friend. But you know, they were farther in the line, so I didn't really get to talk to her that much in line during the red carpet thing, but that was really cool to finally meet her, because we've literally been trying, like we've been planning on meeting up during the summer, but she's been busy and I've been like here, not really busy, but like still kind of busy. We ended up not doing anything during the summer, but thankfully we had this event where we finally were able to meet up. And so yeah, that was really exciting because she was one of the people that I was most looking forward to seeing, just because we've been planning this for a while now. Okay, so there's something you guys kind of need to know before I go further on this, is that my mouth was completely dry during the entire thing. I was sick. I had a little sore throat, but like my mouth, I don't know if it was because I was nervous or whatnot. I really don't know. My mouth was so dry during this whole thing. No matter how much water I drank, my mouth was still dry during the whole thing. I don't know why. I went through like 2 bottles of water and my mouth was still dry. I also vlogged with Zaina a little bit, so that was pretty cool. Also, a little tea spilling. So someone from the premiere group chat had recognized me. They were behind me in line during this entire time that we were waiting in line for the red carpet thing. They took a picture of me, which I'm gonna insert here, which is kind of funny. They couldn't go up and say hi to me, and I was like really sad about that. Really would have loved for you to have said hi to me, but still, like, thank you for the picture. That was kind of pretty cool in a way. So then the red carpet thing started, and Cherry later told me that she had seen Amy Beth walk in and no one noticed. They didn't see her, even though she was like surrounded with a lot of people, but no one saw her apparently. It was only Cherry that saw her, and so she was like, "I love your dress," and then Amy Beth was like, "Thanks, I got it on sale." And then everyone started like freaking out. Obviously, I think they noticed at that point that she was there. Anytime anyone screamed at the event, the thing is that most of the time it was pretty quiet, pretty chill. But when someone screamed, it was like my heart was doing somersaults, because it was like, who is here? Like, why are people screaming? You really gotta question, and you gotta prepare yourself for that. It was kind of funny, but at the same time, really nerve-wracking. And so at this point, when I saw Amy Beth walking to the red carpet event, like, she was on one side of me, obviously, walking, but she had a bunch of people with her. So at this point, I was like, how the hell? How am I going to give her this book if this might be the only time I get to see her, right? Because obviously, I didn't know what was gonna happen. I was like, you know, Delmar, R.H. Thompson, Miranda, the executive producer, and Maura, the creator of the show, they were all there as well, and they started the red carpet thing. To be honest, it was kind of low-key awkward, just because of the fact that at some points people weren't cheering while people like were walking into the red carpet thing and taking their pictures, and we were just kind of all like, and I recorded everything obviously, so you guys saw that in the vlog, but like I was like, this is kind of awkward. No, but for the most part, I think people, they didn't know how to react. I've never been to a red carpet event before, so I can understand why people weren't, they didn't know what to do. But no, it was really chill, it was really cool, and people did cheer, but like there's some parts that I'm just like, why are we cheering, you know? R.H. Thompson is so funny. He was like playing jokes and like saying like really funny things. I think he was filming it with his phone as well, which is pretty cool. I saw at one point that he had picked up Amy Beth or something with Delmar right next to them. It was funny. And yeah, but I didn't really get to see it up close obviously because I was at the back. I'm gonna insert a picture here. I'm like at the back, right? But I did manage to film. Obviously it wasn't the best, but I did what I could. So then after the red carpet thing, people started walking inside the theater, which was really exciting. And so before this, my dad and I had like planned, we were like, okay, you go here and I go there, we're gonna try to find the best seats possible. And I was like, alright. But when we got there, people were already sitting at the middle, and there's like this row in like the middle of the theater that said reserved. We thought that the cast was gonna sit there. That didn't happen. Spoiler alert. They weren't there with us, but yeah. The two of us, my dad and I, decided to sit near the exit of the theater. I think it was the right side of the theater. So that was a perfect place to sit for what was going to occur later on. I thought at that time, I was like, okay, like if Amy Beth walks in, if she goes up the stairs and she sits behind in the middle of the theater, then I can just like reach out my hand and hand her the book. But obviously that didn't happen. And so that was fail number 2. So then Cherry, I think she called me and we were like, okay, where are you? And I was like, I'm in the corner. I'm like near the exit. She's like, I can't see you. And so I get up and I'm like where the heck are you? It turns out we're like literally in the same row, so that was pretty funny. But she was like on the other side and I was on, you know, my side. Later on, Amelia came in. She did manage to get in because she was probably one of the first people in the line. And so my dad offered her his seat so that he could sit in front of us. Amelia sat next to me and we were just like talking and stuff. And at this point, I realized that I had Wi-Fi connection so I could like go live again. When the screening finally started, they presented Amy Beth, they presented Maura, Miranda, R.H. Thompson, and Delmar. They presented all of them. I even showed that in the vlog. But then they like all walk out and we're like, you know, we thought that they were actually gonna stay there, but obviously they didn't. But I do remember Maura specifically at the entrance, or at the exit I guess. She was standing there watching the episode, parts of the episode with us. I start live streaming the screen for people that couldn't be there, and my views went from like 30 during the day to 70, you know, because people obviously wanted to see the episode on the big screen, which was really cool. It was honestly, wow. Like, it was amazing. It was beautiful. So I started live streaming for people that couldn't be there. I did that a couple of times, maybe 2 or 3 times I think, and I also filmed parts with my camera so that people can watch it on my channel as well. At one point during the episode, I checked and with the GC, my group chat. Prior to this, I had told them, please keep me updated on what AJ is doing because I wanted to meet him and I wasn't guaranteed that I was gonna meet him because we were already at the screening and I thought like after the screening like that was it, right? So then I started scrolling through the group chat during the screening. It was like halfway through the episode I think, and so they're telling me, hey, AJ just met a fan at the square with Corey and they like took a picture or they filmed a video or something for like a friend shout out video. So they were like, hey, he's there, and I was like, holy crap. And so I messaged AJ. I think I said, hey, I hope to meet you today. And he responds with, hey, I'm at the square. And he takes a picture and he sends it to me and I'm like, what do I do now? So then I tell the group chat, I'm like, hey, like, this is going down. What do I do? Bloody, especially, I'm sorry, Bloody, I'm like mentioning your name and calling you out. Bloody says, yeet out of the theater. Leave. You've already seen the episode. Go to the square. Everyone in this group chat wanted me to meet AJ, like, so bad. Probably even more than me. I don't even know how that's possible. They really wanted me to meet him. So they were like, leave right now. Like, if you don't leave right now, then when the episode is done, people are going to go out. They're gonna try to meet them, and you're gonna be interfered by the other fans, right? I was getting spammed by them so much. They're like, yeet out of the theater. Leave right now. Just go and meet him. You've already seen the episode. And I'm like, true. And so this was high-key stress for me because I was like, well, I do want to stay and watch and, you know, support the show. But at the same time, I was like, I need to meet AJ. So this was my dilemma, right? At this point, I'm just like, these guys, these girls, I mean, well, these people, and with the GC is only trying to do what's best for me. I knew that. They were making these decisions for me that I knew were the best decisions, and honestly, they were. I really do attribute being able to meet a lot of the cast members to them because they were the ones that were keeping me updated on everything that was going on. At this point, I see like Jerry's on the screen. Like there's a part in the episode where Anne and Jerry are in the barn, and then Nate is there as well. Nate is like making Jerry nervous because he's like writing. And I was at that part and I send them a picture of that. I'm like, look, he's on the screen. And they're like, just leave the theater. And they're like screaming at me in the group chat. Like literally screaming. And I'm like, all right, I'll ask my dad. And so my dad, he was like sitting, you know, farther away. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna go ask him and I'm gonna leave. Since Amelia was sitting next to me and she was like sitting closer to the exit, I was like, hey, I'm gonna go now. You know, I'm gonna go meet the cast and stuff. I was like, I'm gonna go meet AJ right now. So BRB, goodbye. No, but I was like, hey, I'm gonna go now because AJ's at the square. And then Amelia was like, I'm coming with you. And I'm like, yes, at least I'm not alone, you know? That would have been so nerve-wracking for me to just go up to AJ by myself. And so I get my dad. My dad was about to fall asleep. He did enjoy the episode, but he was starting to fall asleep just because we'd both gotten barely any sleep the night before, so I get the fact that he would fall asleep at that point. And I think, yeah, we were halfway through the episode when this happened. And so I'm like, Dad, let's go. Probably wasn't expecting me to say that, but I was like, let's go, Dad. And so he's like, okay, and he gets up, and so we all leave. We don't look back. We kind of do start rushing to get to the square, and we have to like go all these flights of stairs, you know, like not stairs, but like escalators all the way to the first floor. And then while we're going through the revolving door thing, I start filming, and I'm like, okay, I need to start filming now because if I don't, then I might forget, and then my dad obviously has to hold the camera so he can film. And we go. I give the camera to my dad so that he can record this. And my dad, I think he thought it wasn't recording at first, so he presses the button to record. It like stopped the recording instead. So I check again and I'm like, oh, this is not recording. I was like, Dad, you were not recording. Thankfully, I noticed, or else it wouldn't have been filmed, right? And I press it again. I give it to him so that he can start filming everything. But like at this point, I was like so nervous. And Amelia, she was kind of shy as well about this whole thing. It wasn't just AJ. It was Corey, Kyle, Jacob, and Damien. Like they were all there in a circle next to the photo booth thing. And so they were all there and we were like, oh my goodness, right? And it took me a while to go closer. Like I kept going closer. It was kind of like when I met Delilah in a way, because like I kept like hesitating, going closer and closer, and then like stopping. AJ was, I think his back was facing me. He didn't see me. This is hilarious to talk about. But then at some point, I think he did realize something happened where he saw me and then like he comes up to me and he hugs me. He's like, hi, nice to meet you and stuff like that. And I was like, same. And I hug him. I hug Corey. Amelia hugged Corey as well. And like, finally happened. Like we finally met. I attribute that to Anne with the GC. I wouldn't have been able to meet him like that if it hadn't been for them. Amelia starts talking about Cole. She starts like, you know, going on about, I think it was about Cole, to Corey. I'm like, oh, I have something for Corey. The letter from Lisa, right? And I like pull it out of my bag, and that's what you can see in the vlog. And I'm pulling it out of my bag and I'm like looking through it and I grab the letter. I'm like, hey, this is for you. This is from Lisa who couldn't be here today. And he's like, oh, cool. And he starts looking at it and he's like, oh, I know her, because I put her handle on the letter. So he's like, oh, I remember her. And I was like, yeah, she said you would. That made me really happy just because Lisa deserves it. You can see in the vlog he like kind of pulls out the letter and stuff, but I don't really remember what happened there. But he did say, I'll cherish this forever, and I was like, thank you. Corey is one of the sweetest people ever. He's really grown so much with his fan base and stuff. A lot of people were there to see Corey, especially Cherry. No, he handled it really well, like the fame, the, you know, the people, the fangirls. He handled it really, really well, and that's so admirable to see that from him. It was a pleasure meeting Corey just because he's so nice. He's really kind and really attentive. After I gave that to him, these women came up to him telling them, I think they're like their team and stuff, they were like, hey, we have to go. So then they start leaving, and I was like, oh my god, I have to give AJ the shirts and the letter. So then I was like, oh hey AJ, I still have something for you. So then I give him the letter for myself, but then his sister and his mom, they come up to me and I didn't notice, and his dad I think as well. I'm not sure if that was his dad, but his mom comes up to me and she's like, is that Mimi? And I was like, yes, it's me. I did not expect to meet them, but that was amazing. I was like, wow, yeah. It was so exciting just to meet them. His mom was like, let's take a picture. Let me take a picture of you guys. So we take a picture, and then Amelia is kind of like hesitating because obviously she doesn't know what's going on. But then I'm like, come here girl, like come on, let's take a picture with us, obviously. And so after that, Satine wanted to do a boomerang with me. And then they're like, well, we have to go. And I was like, oh my goodness. I was so close to doing one with her. That would have been everything. Yeah, so. And so that happened. And then I was like, oh wait, Satine, like I give her the shirts, right? I give the shirts to her. I gave him the letter, and I was like, hey, this is for you guys don't have to wear. I said that was one time. Hey, you guys don't have to wear, it's just a joke. And I think they were like kind of shocked that I did that. They had no idea I was gonna do that. And then after that, I told my dad, I was like, hey, that was them, his family who knew me. That was pretty cool. So at this point, people, like a few minutes went by, we were like, what do we do now? That just happened. People start exiting the theater and they start like running towards the square, because this is what I was told by Cherry, is that after the episode was done, they all like left. The presenter I think probably like told them like, hey, there's people in the square that want to meet you. And so they all like ran, they bolted, and Cherry thought that she had gone there first. When she did, she sees me, she's like, how did she get here first, right? People were probably like wondering how I got, like I have teleportation, like I can teleport from like one area. Yeah, no, I yeeted out of there because then with the GC told me to. Another thing that kind of happened was that Corey had messaged Cherry while we were in the theater being like, hey, like I'm at the square and stuff. She hadn't seen that message until she got home. So if I would have known that he was like, you know, I would have brought her along so that she could spend a bit more time with him. That would have been an iconic thing to witness. Obviously AJ and his sister and his family, like they're all super sweet. I already knew that. I was so looking forward to meeting them specifically just because AJ has been, in a way, he's like been there with me for like 7 months, like since he followed me in March. That's really, really incredible to see. You know, I'm a fan of the show. His character is my favorite character in the show, and for him to just support me in that way, you know, by watching my videos, and for his family to watch my videos, like that means so much to me. So AJ, if you're watching this, thank you so much. That was iconic and I really enjoyed meeting you. One of the things that Anne with the GC said, sorry, I'm gonna expose you guys a little, they were like, the screening is a trap. It kind of was in a way, because they kind of coordinated it all so that we wouldn't be able to meet the cast like after the screening. They kind of removed everyone before everyone could come. So that's why I say that I wouldn't have thought of leaving the theater to go meet AJ if they hadn't pressured me to. So that's why I say that they made the best decisions for me. I keep having to pause it because I keep getting interrupted. So it's a week after I filmed the last thing you guys just saw, so I'm sorry. I don't really have that much time to film right now because I'm doing, you know, other things in school and stuff. So as I was saying, so after I met AJ and Corey, we had no idea what was gonna happen. We were like, okay, so is it done? And so I go back to Anne with the GC and they're like, okay, so what about the book, right? Like this is a big issue now. How am I supposed to give the book to Amy Beth? They were telling me, they were like, just DM her and ask her how to deliver the book, right? So I did that. So I didn't see that she had responded until after I already gave her the book, but at the same time I was still able to give her the book. While we were waiting at the square with everyone else, this is when I thought that I wasn't sure that I was gonna give her the book. At this point as well, we didn't know if we were going to meet any of the other cast members. So Amelia is looking at her phone. I don't remember who it was, but it was either Glenna or Leah. One of the girls had posted a picture of themselves, and the background of the photo, Amelia said that it looked really familiar. So we were like, maybe we can go and find one of them. I don't know. That was our mentality. And to meet them and stuff, I wanted to meet Glenna a lot. So we were like, okay, it's time to go back to the Cineplex. So we go all the way back, the same way we came from, you know, up the escalators. And we got to the second floor, and then we see Satine. She's like going down the escalators, and she's on her way to the square. And then we also see R.H. Thompson. Again, again, we were so nervous to like go up to him. But he was walking pretty quickly as well, so we couldn't approach him at all. Like, I really wanted to meet him, but I guess I will be able to do that one day, hopefully. By the time we got to the top, there was someone there that told us that we had to go back downstairs to the square and they would be waiting for us there. So the cast would be waiting for us at the square. So we were like, okay, we gotta go back, right? It's time to go back to the square. So we go back downstairs. This is like when madness kind of starts to happen. So everyone, all of the cast, I believe they all had to take the elevator so that they don't get bombarded with fans. We got to the first floor. As we're going outside, I just see this like huge crowd of people and Corey is like taking pictures with people. It was insane. I didn't get to film this part, but it was pretty insane. It wasn't just him there. I think Leah was there. I'm not sure if Glenna was there, but Kyla was definitely there. I remember those three in particular. It was pretty insane because everyone was going to Corey and stuff. You know, apparently this is what happened. This is what Cherry told me. Again, Cherry has to tell me everything because I wasn't there for a lot of it. So what had happened was when I went upstairs to the Cineplex, everyone was waiting at the square and Cherry, I think she spotted Corey from across the street outside of the Cineplex, and I think she said that she had called out his name and everyone started running into traffic, I believe. I'm like, she basically created the stampede and everyone started going to Corey. So I think while I was on my way out of the Cineplex, that's what I saw. Like, I saw the people stampede, the fangirls were going and approach Corey and stuff. It was pretty intense. There was a lot of people there on the sidewalk. It was a sidewalk and like everyone is, you know, pretty insane. My dad told me that at one point Corey like looked at him. My dad has no idea who Corey is because he hasn't watched the show. He only knows what I've told him. I haven't really talked to him about Corey, so he had no idea who he was. But Corey looked at him and Corey was probably expecting my dad to like do something, you know? But my dad was just like, you know, looking at him back and just being like, you know, awkward. It was kind of funny. So then I was kind of close to Leah at one point and I took pictures of her. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. That's what happened. I took a couple pictures of Leah. They turned out pretty good. Alright, so at this point we're all crossing the street, going to the square again, and the cast start going into the photo op area, the stage, right? And I'm on the side where they had entered, and that's where I stayed for the remaining of the time that they were in there. All I remember from that is that I saw the actor that plays Mr. Phillips, and I was like, oh my god, I need to take a picture for my sister, obviously. I also took a picture of the actor who plays the bad thief in the show. At one point I saw Moira. She was in the area where the cast was entering into the stage, so I saw her there. I was like, I need to take a photo with her. So I go up to her and I ask her, hey, can we take a photo? And she's like, yeah. While we're taking a photo, she kind of like looks up because on the jumbo screen there was a picture of her and Amy Beth. And she like points to it and I just take photos of that, and then obviously I took a normal photo with her, so yeah, that was pretty funny. I don't think I told her anything else, but that was it. My dad kind of wanted, he was like, you should just tell her about your channel and stuff, but I had no time because people started coming up to her and Miranda as well, and then they immediately had to go up on the stage with the rest of the cast. So before the cast exited from the stage, my dad had overheard someone tell one of the security guards, one of their coordinators or team, tell the security guard that they were going to exit from the same way that they came in and that they were going to go back into the Cineplex, probably for their private screening. As I said, my dad overheard that. You can see in the vlog right after that happens, for some reason I'm like, I'm gonna go to the front so that I can try to take better photos of everyone and stuff, and then my dad stops me and he's like, no, just go back. He stops me from going and I go back to where they were gonna exit from, and that was great. I would have missed the opportunity to hand Amy Beth the book and give the letter to Glenna if my dad hadn't stopped me, so I stayed there where he said. And then the cast starts coming out. Oh my goodness. The whole event was high-key stress, right? But this part was like, I need to do this no matter what. I cannot delay this. This has to happen, right? So the first person that I interacted with was Glenna, and I just like gave her the card and she's just like, ah, and she takes it. So then Amy Beth starts coming out. Kyla was right next to her. I was like, okay, this is my time. I need to do this or else, well, I'm gonna fail completely, miserably. I don't like to scream. That's not a thing I do. Even though my dad told me, like, you should just shout out her name when she comes. But I was like, no way. I'm too nervous for that. So I just hold up the book in the air just so that she can see it. And obviously she knows that I was gonna give her a book. She sees it and she takes it from me. And then she comes around like her security guard and she gives me a hug. As she's giving me a hug, Kyla, who as I said is right next to her, says that she recognizes me. And I was like, oh my goodness. I didn't know about this, but you can see in the vlog, Amy Beth said, that's Michelle. I just shouted, I was like, happy birthday, and she said thank you, and then they walked out.
And so after that, I was so happy that I had given everyone everything I needed to give. But then I realized as soon as that happened, it hit me that Kyla had also recognized me. She remembered me from probably YouTube, or I have no idea. Remains to be seen. Hopefully one day I'll be able to ask her how she knows me, but probably YouTube. But yeah, that was insane. I have met Kyla in the past. I met her once before, but I haven't actually had like a real conversation with her like I have with Delilah and Amy Beth. The fact that now it seems like she does know me is super crazy, but also it was amazing. So then after everyone left, Miranda and then the actress who plays Minnie May, Ryan, and the actress who plays Aunt Josephine, Deborah I think her name is, the three of them stayed behind at the square. So Miranda was talking to a couple of people and I spotted her and I was like, I'm gonna go up to her and say I loved her as Josie in the 80s version and obviously ask her for a picture. She's finished talking to the people that she was talking to and then I approached her and the first thing she says to me is, we've met before, or like, I've met you before, something like that. Instantly I was like, what? I didn't know how to like tell her, no, we haven't met before. For a second I was like, maybe we have, you know, like, I don't know. I was like, maybe I know her. I don't know. But obviously I hadn't met her before this. But then she said, oh, you said hi. And then she's like, I don't know, but I've met you before. I was like, okay. I don't think I knew, or I don't think I was aware that she might have known me from YouTube, but so I said, I loved you as Josie, the 80s version, and she said thank you, we took a picture, and then she was about to leave, and then that's when I spilled the tea, and I was like, I have a YouTube channel where I talk about Anne, and then she was like, that's where I know you from. And I was shook. I was actually shook, because it's not every day that the executive producer from Anne knows you before you have met them, you know? That entire conversation has actually left me completely amazed that the fact that I could just make a video and then anyone can recognize me from it. It's the wildest thing ever. I had no idea that would happen. Not in my wildest dream. No. That's not a thing, but apparently it is. So yeah, that was amazing. She thanked me for, you know, doing YouTube. She can tell that I really love the show. And I was like, yes. And I told her that I was really excited for season 3, and then we said bye to each other, and then I lost it completely. Not like lost it, but I had to, you know, maintain my cool after that. I was fangirling a lot inside. Yeah, it was one of the best things to ever happen to me. So then I spotted the actress who plays Minnie May, and then I also saw the actress who plays Aunt Josephine. But okay, I feel really bad about this, but I didn't recognize the actress who plays Aunt Josephine until after the event. It didn't hit me that she was there. I didn't see her when she was on the stage, like, because there's so many people there. It didn't register in my mind that that was her, or else I obviously would have taken a picture with her. But I did recognize the actress who plays Minnie May, who is Ryan. And so I just went up to her and I took a picture with her, and she's so adorable, she's so cute. Oh my goodness. And she's like so shy. I didn't know what to expect. In the show she's so sassy, but in real life she's so shy and she's so cute, and oh my god. It was such a pleasure to meet her. And then after this, my dad and I, we said goodbye to Amelia because we thought that the event was over. We were like, this event is over. I'm good. I actually was satisfied with everything that had happened. I was like, I'm good. I met everyone I needed to meet. So then we said goodbye to Amelia, and Amelia went home, which sadly she didn't get to meet the cast afterward when they came back out, which we didn't know, as I said. My dad and I were about to go back into the subway, but then he was like, we should go and grab something to eat because we haven't eaten all day. And I was like, yes. We go to a restaurant nearby. Before we went into the restaurant, I was like, I forgot about Cherry. Like, I forgot to take a picture with her. We were supposed to take a picture, but we had forgotten, and I didn't see her, right? So I call her, she doesn't answer. We go into the restaurant, we start eating, and I start talking to him about the whole event. And then I went on a live. I did a live, and the connection was so horrible that I didn't know that people had joined. It literally gave me nobody. So I end the live thinking that no one had joined. Yes, people were joining. Even AJ joined, and he was probably confused. I don't know if you could see me talking in the live, but it was probably paused. Like, that's my theory. That was embarrassing. Then later on I went live again, and this time it worked. So I just started talking about the whole event and stuff, and it was crazy how so much had happened in those hours. It was also amazing, like literally so amazing. I think after I did the second live or something like that, I check my phone and I go on Anne with the GC again, and they tell me, do not leave because they're gonna come back out. At this point it was like 3:30 I think, when we were still eating, and I tell my dad, we gotta go back to the square because Amy Beth is about to come out again. And only Amy Beth said that she was gonna come out, right? Like, she was the only one that posted on her story like, hey, if anyone's around after we have our private screening, then I'll come back out. And so I thought it was only gonna be her, right? So I could talk to her, but no, it wasn't just her. So yeah, so I told my dad, I was like, hey, can we go back to the square if you have to, because my dad had to go home, so I told him like, you can go if you need to back home and I'll just stay there and I'll go home in a few minutes. He was like, I'll wait for you until 4 p.m. and then if they don't come out, then I will have to go home. And I was like, that's fine. They came out a few minutes after 4, but thankfully he stayed there because or else I wouldn't have gotten all the footage that I did when I met a lot more people from the cast. My dad and I, after having eaten, we went back to the square. We were sitting there. I see Cherry across the street, you know, close to the Cineplex, and so she's crossing the street, and then when she comes over to the square, I like call out her name. I'm like, Cherry, and she's like, oh, hi Michelle. And then we start talking. We took a picture. We took actually 2 pictures. Her friend took a picture of us, and then I also took a selfie with her. And then we started like talking about like what happened with her and Corey and what happened with me and Amy Beth. And then my dad notices that the whole cast is coming out. Not the whole cast, but like mostly the kid cast is coming out, and I see them coming towards us, the fans that were still waiting there in the square. And Cherry and I, like, we immediately stop our conversation mid-conversation, and we just start like they're coming towards us. I wanted to like assess the whole situation. I'll just like stay back, you know, while everyone else does their thing. I start like walking away and my dad is like, Michelle, get in there. And I was like, okay, fine. He's literally forcing me to do this, but obviously I want to, but I'm so nervous to do this. I'm super nervous because this is like, I can finally go and talk to them, like have a real conversation and stuff. You don't really see this in the vlog, but I think Corey was the one who like initiated the interaction between the fans and them. It was like the Ann clan versus the Ann fans. I like to call it that. It was a lot. It was a lot to take in for us. But yeah, as I said, Corey kind of, I think he did like a hugging emotion where he was like, hey, come to us, right? And so then people started going in, and then as I said, my dad started pushing me, and so I see that Amy Beth is taking a picture with someone, with a fan, and then after that my dad's like, go, 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 and so I go in and I hug her. We just immediately started talking. The first thing she said is that the book was safe. You know, after all of this, she ended up reading it on the plane, she said, and she really appreciated it. Like, she said she cried, so you guys made her cry. I hope you guys are happy. No, I'm just kidding. No, you guys did amazing in the book project, so thank you so much for doing that. So we started talking, and she said, I had no idea that this was all gonna happen, right? And I was like, saying, no one had a clue what was gonna happen. As I said, the whole event, it was kind of disorganized. It had its pros and cons for being disorganized, in my opinion. Pro was that at some points it was more accessible for fans and casts to meet and stuff, but then for con, it was confusing, so some people didn't get to meet the cast, right? It went both ways, in my opinion. So then we took a picture, then I asked her for a video shout-out for Anne with the GC, and that's all thanks to Bloody for reminding me. I've been wanting to do something like that for them for a very long time. They definitely deserve it since they've, you know, helped me out a lot during the event, and I would have done that for them either way. Like, we've all basically have known each other for 7 months. Basically some of my best friends. I didn't mind doing that for them, and they were really excited as well. Making people happy is something that makes me happy, so yeah. Okay, and then Amy Beth complimented my Kindred Spirit shirt, and she was like, that's from the haul video that you did, right? And I was like, because I didn't expect her to say that. I didn't expect her to know that I did a haul video, and then she was like, I watched all your videos, and then she said, I'm a fan of you. If she's watching this right now, thank you so much. It's so unbelievable that I'm being so supported in that way, and it really means a lot to me. It made me really happy to know that she watches my videos, so yeah. I think it's really nice to see not just support from a Netflix star to a YouTuber and vice versa, but to see like a human supporting another human. I think that's really refreshing and really, really sweet and lovely of her to do, so but obviously I fangirled inside and I wanted to die, like die of happiness. I'm so grateful. I'm so lucky to say that what I do matters to people, matters to you guys, and this is like a little emo right now, but just thank you so much to everyone, not just the cast, but just to everyone overall who have ever watched my videos and who have said to me that they like my videos. That makes me so happy to hear. It's all thanks to you guys. Nothing that I do would ever measure up to the power and the impact that you guys have to me. Literally, I can never do anything as big as what you guys have done for me, so that's why I do as much as I can to make you guys happy. That's I want to like cry. Sorry, I'm like so emotional right now. And then I asked her to sign my book. I've been wanting to get her to sign my book since I met her in March. Actually, I will pull out the book before I forget. Okay, I almost fell. Legit almost tripped. This is gonna be so bad. Okay, I'm in the dark right now. This is by Delilah. So I was telling Amy Beth that Delilah had signed the book in March, and then this is Amy Beth's signature right here. This is where Amy Beth signed. The lighting sucks. And then this is Megan Follows' signature. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's in really big writing. So yeah, as I told her that Delilah had signed the book, she said that she was really sad that she couldn't come, and same, because like it would have been awesome to have met Delilah again. The final thing was I thanked her for signing, and then we said bye, and that was it. I really did take my time with her, so it was really nice, you know, to be able to talk to her, even for that 1 to 2 minutes that we did. I really did want to take my time with her this time because I didn't really get to last time, so it was really nice. Okay, and then the next person, I already met, obviously, AJ, but he was the next person I talked to. So after finishing my conversation with Amy Beth, he was right behind me. He was legit right behind me, and so I'm kind of looking straight forward and being like, okay, what do I do now, right? I either remember that AJ was, you know, somewhere there, like somewhere behind me, but like I don't know how. I just turned around and he was right there. Very convenient. So then we just said hi to each other and I asked him for a picture. We took a picture. Then we just started talking. It was chill. I wasn't as nervous as I was the first time meeting him. And then, as I said, we had a normal conversation. He was like, I joined your live when you were at the restaurant. And I was telling him how bad the connection was because it really was bad. And I told him I didn't know that anyone joined, so that's why obviously I would have said hi if I had known that people were joining the live. And then I don't remember exactly what we said afterward, but I mentioned the shirts. I think he said thank you for them or something. I don't know. But then I was like, you don't have to wear it. Part 2 of saying you don't have to wear the shirts. And then he hugs me. He actually ended up wearing the shirt afterward, and his sister too. That was a thing. Really sweet that they did. Yeah, and then I asked him to sign my book, and he did, so it's over here. So my pen kept getting lost in my purse. I just kept shoving my pen in my purse, so it kept getting lost. So the first pen I used was black, and then I couldn't find the pen when I shoved it in my purse after, you know, talking to Amy Beth. So I just went back to the pouch that I had the pens in, and I grabbed a blue pen, and so that's why his writing isn't blue. It's this one right here. I think I had to help him hold the book because obviously it's hard to do a signature without a flat surface. And so yeah, that was very sweet, and we said bye to each other. And then I'm like, okay, what do I do now? Like, it's always awkward in between talking to people. You're like, where do I go to now? I see Glenna. I was like, I'm going up to her now. I was more confident at this point going up to people, so I just went up to Glenna. She was like, Michelle, and then we hugged. It was so cute. We took a picture, and then I think it was her mom that came around us and took a picture of us, so that was really nice. And then she was like, if you post that, tag me. And I was like, hey, can you like sign my book as well? When I was like looking for my pen, like my pen was non-existent at this point. I only had 2 pens, and I had shoved both of them in my bag. Yeah, it took me longer to find my pen. And Layla, if you're watching this, you know how embarrassed I was by that, and you laughed a lot. But yeah, so Glenna's, oh my god, I love her writing, but this was Glenna's. You guys can see that, that's Glenna's. So I got her to sign the book, and then we said bye to each other. And then the next person I went up to was Damon, right? Most of the guys were very close together, so when I saw them, they weren't really talking to anyone, so I decided I'm going up to all of them because no one else is doing it. It was so cool. They were all so nice as well, and I had more confidence at this point to go up to the cast. So I went up to Damon, and he plays Billy Powell number 2. I asked him for a picture, and then he signed my book. So that's his. The lighting is so bad, you guys probably can't see it. Oh, I even told him, I was like, I really love the show. I think I said something like that. Kyle was like standing right in front of us, so I look up at Kyle, and I'm like, oh my god, it's Kyle. The iconic Kyle. You know, instantly I was like, I love your song, which I genuinely do. I really love Nowhere. The first time I ever heard it, it was when Giselle had sent it to me, and this was after season 2 had premiered. I wasn't involved in Instagram at that point because I didn't want to be spoiled, so she was like giving me all the updates, and she said that Kyle had dropped his song, and so she sent it to me, and I listened to it. I was like, oh my god. I actually really did like it. I was like, this is a bop. So I genuinely was like, I really like your song, and he was like, oh my god, thank you. Then I asked him for a picture, and then we just started talking. I started telling him, as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, there was a premiere group chat that I created, right? And so I was thanking him for offering to give gifts, all the gifts that the premiere group chat, you know, because we were concerned about whether or not, as I said a million times before, we were concerned about whether or not we were going to be able to meet the cast. So he had offered to, I guess, meet up with us and get the gifts from us and give them to the cast. And so I thanked him for doing that. It's very sweet of him. So he was like explaining to me like he's, you know, the biggest fan of the show, and so he understands. That was very humble of him as well. And so then I got him to sign my book, and he was like, I'd be delighted. It was so cute and so sweet. And so he signed the book, this one right here. I forgot to say, he plays Billy Powell number 1, which is, you know, iconic. He was like, sorry for my crappy handwriting, and I was like, it's fine, I get it. Because I have crappy handwriting as well. I was about to move on, but then he was like, what's your username? And I was like, Mimi with an I. He was like, no way, that's you? And I was like, yeah, I make videos. And then he was like, yeah, I've heard about that, that's awesome. And I was like, wait, who have you heard it from? And so he was like, the cast, of course. Oh, my life. Nonchalantly, the cast talked about me. That's a thing. I was shook. Finally, he was like, "You're awesome." And I was like, wow. It was everything. Kyle's very sweet. I didn't know what to expect from him actually, but he was very sweet. He also said that he had heard about it 3 times, and I was like, wow. And then the funny thing is, you can see in the footage, Jacob, the guy that plays Moody, he was kind of low-key listening into the conversation. That was kind of cool. And yeah, so after I stopped talking to Kyle, I went up to Jacob, and I took a picture with him, and the funny thing is, he really does do the exact same pose that he does when he takes selfies and stuff. And then I got him to sign my book. He like signed it Moody, but also low-key Jacob. But he's like Moody, just in case, you know, just in case we don't know. Right there. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm so bad at showing this. It was really cool to meet him. And then the next person I went up to was the other Jacob. So there's another Jacob in the show. He plays Charlie Sloan. And so I took a picture with him. And the funny thing is, Kyle like low-key photobombed us. It was funny. Jacob, he was like, "Stop photobombing us." Yeah, and so he was very sweet as well. And his signature, I believe, this one right here. Lastly, I see Ella, who plays Prissy on the show. I didn't even see her before. This is the first time I'm seeing her, and I was like, oh my god, it's her. And she was standing right next to some of the boys, and so I was like, can we take a picture together? And she was like, sure. The cast started to leave, right? But she and the guy that plays Charlie, you know, Jacob, they take a picture with a fan, and then for some reason, like, I'm so loopy at this point, and I'm so overwhelmed, my mind was completely all over the place. So I thought that I hadn't taken a picture yet with the actor that plays Charlie, so I try to go up to him again. And I'm so embarrassed at this point. And he's already on his way. But then Ella is still standing there, waiting for me. I look at her and I'm like, oh my god, it's with her. I forgot. And then we take a picture. She like touches my shoulder and she's like, nice meeting you. And then she leaves, so sadly I didn't get her to sign my book. But it was still really nice to meet her. She's so sweet. And that was basically the entire thing. The whole event was awesome. After that, I went home with my dad and I went on a live and I explained the entire thing. I don't think I gave the entire tea. The entire tea. I don't think I spilled the whole tea on the live, but I spilled most of it. It was so magical in a way. Like, obviously it wasn't with princesses or Disney or anything like that, but it really felt magical. And I got to meet so many people. Like, that's insane. As I said, it's all thanks to the people that were encouraging me, my dad, the group chat, all the wonderful fans that I got to meet. It was so amazing, and I can't wait to one day see them again, maybe at the season 3 premiere, or maybe at another meetup with the Ant cast. That would be amazing. And like I said at the beginning of this video, it's so overwhelming, it's so mind-blowing to see that so many of them recognize me. Like, so many people did, and I wasn't expecting that. We really are very lucky. Another thing, the event was free. Like, it was completely free, and we got to do so much. You don't really get to see that a lot. Free events with a lot of, in a way, liberty. Obviously with, you know, security. But for the most part, nothing really insane happened except for maybe that stampede with Corey. In spite of this event being kind of confusing and kind of all over the place, I'm still very grateful to have attended and to have people that were watching my back and telling me all of the info and all of the updates online. And once again, thank you to all the fans that came up to me and took pictures with me. I feel like I really did create a lot of friendships that day. Lastly, I'd like to thank my dad for being my #1 supporter and for encouraging me and giving me all of this confidence to do all the things that I did. It was quite amazing to experience all that stuff with him, and I really hope that I made him proud. And like I said in my last meet and greet video, I really hope that this experience passes on to you guys. I really hope that all the fans that couldn't be there get to experience something like this one day, because y'all deserve it. And I do not take this event for granted. It was one of the best days in my entire life, if not the best day in my entire life. I love you guys so much. Thank you guys for watching this video. I don't know how long this is gonna be. It's gonna be a long video, but if you've made it to the end, thank you guys for watching. Knock on wood for Selma. Follow me on all my social media accounts if you guys want, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye! Mwah. Back to my reactions.
First thing we climb a tree, and maybe then we'd talk, or sit silently and listen to our thoughts, illusions of someday.